Biergoose Talks. It all started with the videos of Paintball, a gentleman from Croatia who sadly passed away a few years ago, and he was doing modifying tutorials on his A5. He was doing tips and tricks how to repair stuff. He was building camera mounts, and he put his in-game gameplay footage online, and I really loved to watch that even before I started playing paintball. A few years later I found Mark Sutherland, Alabasterslim from Toronto, Canada, and I really enjoyed watching his footage. It was different this time. It was recorded with a GoPro camera. Back in the days when Borg did it, there were no GoPro cameras, and he was having commentary on his video. At first, I think, when I remember it correctly, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, there was no off commentary. There was just in-game commentary while he was playing, I think.
Set a bomb push. Bomb starts in the middle. You got to get the bomb in the enemy team base. Bases are the hotel and the church. Get it in your own base. Your base blows up. You lose. 2 respawns, 3 lives totals. Headshots or dead shots following a 1-minute grace period. Good, go.
And that inspired me to buy myself a GoPro camera, and I did that back in 2014. GoPro 3 Plus, black something, for lots of money, and it's still working. I'm still using that one as well. Yeah, so I started trying all the different camera angles, barrel cam, selfie cam, camera on the mask, and I had some footage. And I did not really know how to handle it, because I never did videos. I never did cutting. I just never did it. So, I had an old iMac from 2008 back then, and I started to import the footage and work with it. It was nothing special. I mean, it's a process you have to go through. You have to learn, and you have to find out what you actually want. And my goal, my aim was, and that's actually the question of, that's actually the answer of the question people ask me. My goal was to transport the intensity and the adrenaline flow I have during a game for others to see on YouTube, and to enjoy the intensity I have there.
We knew there were enemies up there, but we had no idea how many, and we did not know where they were. Empty. No one here so far.
And I had to find out, sadly, that this is very, very hard to do. I mean, being on a paintball field, trapped in a situation, being shot at, whatever, gives you such a rush. And when you watch the footage, it's like, oh, nice, but it's boring. And for yourself, you remember the situation. It's like, I know exactly what went on there. There was a guy behind that door, or there was a guy behind that tree. And when other people watch it, it's like, yeah, no. So that simply does not work. And I was a bit frustrated, because I wanted others to enjoy, to feel the joy I had, but I could not transport it. At that moment, I found the videos, the early videos of Mr. Ash Slingsby, the Hidden Hedgehog. And I thought, okay, whoa, that is a different level, because he was adding cinematic shots, he was adding sounds, graphics, and then commentary, and he was telling stories.
So back maybe about, I'm going to say about 15 years ago now, I started playing paintball, and it was a fun hobby. I used to go with my friends and stuff, and it kind of developed from there, the obsession. And I remember once that the seed that was planted to do YouTube videos was I used to wear earphones when I played paintball, and to listen to like soundtracks while I played, and you know, kind of give that intensity, and my imagination kind of took over, and that kind of planted the seed of, you know, what it would be like if, you know, I had that kind of music, intensity, tension going during my videos.
Suddenly, I spotted some movement, but I need to be patient and wait for a clean shot. But it seems like he's already spotted me and fires at me, and our rounds pass each other in mid-air.
Actually, one of the first videos that I actually saw was actually a video from Aartwood, which was this this third-person camera rig that I saw that he had. I didn't know who he was. This was back way before Facebook. This was on the forums, and he had this like HUD display. And I remember watching it, thinking, "Oh wow, it looked like a computer game." As I've gone on, you know, my production skills improved, and people seemed to like them, and that's when my YouTube channel kind of took off, and, you know, kind of like the rest is history. You know, I've ended up traveling the world, and met some amazing people and other YouTubers.
And I am more a story person. I like that. When I write music, I tell stories. When I read books, what I do quite often, I tell stories. And I said to myself, okay, that guy just told me a story. I don't care whether it's 100% true. I don't care whether he added stuff like sound effects, whatever. But he is able to transport the feeling he had at that certain point of time. And even though he adds stuff that never happened, I can feel it much better that way. And now we're coming to the controversy. Some people say, when you start thinking about your camera angles, about your footage, and how you position yourself better to make it look better, then you stop playing paintball properly, and you're actually a fake player because you're not concentrated on the game. True, on the one hand. Wrong, on the other. It's a matter of training. The more you get used to it, the better you get. And in the end, you have camera angles, you have footage, and you had a great grain. Grain. You had a get. Is that coffee actually? You had a great game. Okay, I mean, I can't compare myself to guys like Slim and Hedgehog. I mean, there's thousands of people watching their stuff for a reason, and in general, it's like 100 or 200 people watching my stuff. But it's the reactions I get, and I get some. Usually, it's not in the comments, although I think comments on YouTube are essential for the guy who produces it, because that's your review. You are always interested in whether it's interesting for people or not. And now, after years, I've seen quite a few people doing paintball videos, and lots of stuff out there is actually very, very good. For example, Craig, Mr. Aartwood from Wales. Why did you start?
So I've been on YouTube since about 2006. Like most people, you know, I started filming paintball primarily
to show friends and family, and just to show the experience that I was having whilst going out on a Sunday and missing church. So it was quite a nice experience to be able to put that forward to people that weren't with me, using what I had at the time, which was a GoPro Hero 2. Fast forward, the best part of 14 years.
This is War Machine, a mag-fed only game run by OMG Events. It appears that I have a target upon my shoulders. I've become the hunted. This urban field does not play to my strengths, so I've found what little vegetation I can to hold my own against the creators of the MG100.
And I'm still playing, and it's evolved. My view of filming has also evolved. I've gone from using one camera to film paintballing to using 6. And at any one time I could be running on a field with 4 separate cameras, which I then cut and edit together to make a film. But the reason why I personally film paintball has changed from originally sharing it with just friends and family to growing a love of the sport, a love for the people that I play with, the desire to kind of spread that with as many people as I can, because paintball is a really small niche of an activity you can do. I don't know, I kind of feel a little bit of a responsibility to try and share to the best of my ability the excitement and how much I love paintball, to try and get as many other people into it as possible, to make it grow, because the bigger it gets, the more players it gets, the different equipment it gets, it's just, paintball's been around for such a long time, but it still feels like it's a very infant stage of its development. So for me, I make gameplay videos in a style where I try to keep the viewer engaged. So I try to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a kind of a narrative to drive you through to the end, rather than just solid gameplay. But then there's nothing wrong with just solid gameplay. It's great seeing people having just gameplay videos and having just shot videos and scope cams, and just it's just great seeing everybody uploading videos all the time. And I think as a community of people that film paintball, I think it's massively important that more and more people try filming their shots. And if they do, it doesn't matter if you're unexperienced with editing, it doesn't matter if you don't run with 4 cameras, even if you just have 1 camera. It's just, the more content of paintball online, the more people are going to see it, the more people are going to become engaged, and just the sport in general will grow. And I think, for me, that's the core reason for recording paintball, is just to kind of get more and more people into it, because I love paintball.
Tom Barker is doing some funny stuff, and every time he puts out his new shenanigans, I can't stop laughing.
So, you ready to get your close-up? My name's Tom Barker, aka just Barker, and I make paintball videos. Essentially, now, for the past few months, I make paintball videos online on YouTube, and I do that as my full-time job, and that's pretty much what I do for a living.
I've never said this to a woman before, but I really like your balls. I mean, just how they jingle and jangle, I mean, just how they bounce in the wind, it's glorious.
It all kind of started about 6 years ago, back in 2014. I started playing paintball as a way to sort of get over sort of a breakup, and then I went along with a few friends to a few games, and then we sort of really enjoyed it. We liked how I really liked how like the rental games were, and then you always start the same sort of thing. You transition to buying a mask, and then so more and more and more and everything else, until you get to the point where it's like, now I have the full gear and collection and everything else. For me, paintball over the years has definitely expanded and changed in a lot of different ways. It's something that, for me, paintball started out as just a hobby. It's something that I just did with my friends. And now I'm very lucky to be in a position where actually I can say that it's my job. And I get to make videos for a living, which is something that I didn't think was ever going to be possible.
I love it. Dr.Rush, Richard, he's doing some great stuff with effects and graphics and 3D camera angle and stuff. Great. And he's also dressing up like scientists or characters from computer games. Love it.
my name's Rush, and I started playing paintball back in 2008. Like many other people, I watched your videos on YouTube, and just I want to see how the field where I play looks like. And then I start thinking, all these people, they're not really putting much effort into their videos. It's just people shooting boxes of paint into the middle of nowhere, and you couldn't see anything. Actually, so I thought I can do that better.
You have targets right below you. I marked them on your map.
Target eliminated. Nice and clean. And that's what I do now, I think. And it became part of my hobby. So I play paintball, record, and then when I'm back home, I spend probably weeks or months just to put a video together.
I like the fact that every, let's call them YouTuber, has some individual stuff. Connor, yellow guy, code riot, from England. The man, the machine, the skill and the speed. The man who was wearing a camera for years without a case, not putting any footage online, still having 3,000 followers for putting nothing online. And now he's making good content, funny content.
Well, it all started when I saw everybody else doing it. And then, you know, they were all doing it, and I thought, well, what are they up to? Why are they wearing cameras? And then, you know, I got myself a cheap camera and I started recording, and I figured out that, well, I decided I just wanted to remember all the good bits in the game, you know, all the funny parts, all the interesting runs, all the building stormings, all that good stuff. Yeah, so that's why it all started. And then obviously after a while, you know, you start playing for a while, you notice all the stuff in YouTube, people are posting videos, you know, you got like Ash and Tom and you, of course, and you start making actual like content, actual stories and whatnot in it, and that wasn't for me, you know. I just wanted to remember all the good bits. But then after a while, obviously, I amassed a considerable amount of footage, and there was some good stuff in there. And everyone was like, well, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? And I was like, I don't know, I'll just leave it there, you know, just it's there if I want to watch it. So, after a while, everyone kept pestering me, like, you've got all this footage, why don't you do something with it? So, now, I wear it, kind of, for the original reason, but now that I put it on YouTube, it's just so I can remember all the funny stuff that happens, or the cool stuff that happens, but now all the important parts are on my YouTube videos. So now I don't have to go back and watch all the rubbish, like me spawning or something silly. It's all there, ready to go, highlights up and running on YouTube. So yeah, so it's the same reason, and just so happens that other people seem to enjoy it too. So yeah, that is the reason I wear a camera in game.
Stop farting, Tom!
It is quite similar to all the stuff Tom does, but hey, it's a Vanguard, and only a Vanguard has the right to copy something like that. That's the main reason why I do it. It's nice to watch, and when I watch my footage from years ago, it's like, oh yeah, it's like watching old photos. It's like, oh yes, I remember that. Oh, look at that guy. I haven't seen him for years. Oh, that location, that venue was great. And that's my main reason to do it, to remember stuff. Memories are good.
If you want to see more Steve Biergoose talks, then follow this channel. Thank you all for watching. Good Abend.